Okay, can everybody, perfect.
You can hear me, I can hear me. Thank you very much for having us, Tarek and Kai and Christian, Rachel, Michael, and we're really excited to be here again to give another update. Last year we were just finishing up initial drill program on our Lucita property, so we have some more results to talk about there. But just as a summary here, Defiance is a Mexican-focused silver, base metal, precious metal, exploration and development company. We have two flagship assets in Mexico. We're solely Mexico-focused. Our Zacatecas projects, which is located in central Mexico, Zacatecas State, one of the world's most important silver mining jurisdictions, and our Topal asset, which has an asterisk on it. I'll talk about it briefly. We are in litigation right now for an illegal and fraudulent transfer of our claims. We believe we'll have a positive outcome right now. Right now, we are not doing any work at Topal, but it is a large and very important asset for us, and we do expect a positive outcome with the court case that's going on that. That being said, we have a lot to talk about with Zacatecas, and as we do have two flagship assets, I think it's very important that we touch on the Zacatecas one right now. So, Defiance Silver. We have a robust resource base on both projects. 1.8 million ounces of gold, 813 million pounds of copper, a largely building resource base at our Zacatecas project. We've been actively drilling there, and significant exploration potential at both of them. We have a team of people that have been doing this for a long time. Over 100 years of cumulative experience, management on the ground, over 100 years of cumulative experience working in Mexico, taking exploration discoveries through to mine development, mergers and acquisitions. And when you combine that with our board of directors, that's over 200 years of management and capital markets experience, all in the mining space. So it's very rare that you'll find a team of people with both the experience in Mexico, direct experience in the country, but as well the experience of the lifeline and the cycle of a mining project. Like any precious metals company, we do have leverage to the precious metal prices, but at Topal, every $250 movement in the price of gold adds $100 million to the post-tax NPV of our projects. So highly leveraged to the underlying commodity prices. Bit of a cliche for a mining company, but it's there. Our company is very aligned, very philosophically aligned with our shareholders. The CEO's firm owns over 20, or just about 20% of the underlying capital of our underlying stock of the company. About 35 to 40% management key shareholders own the company. So very highly aligned, very philosophically aligned. I think you're seeing that with both the way that we're spending capital, but both the way that we're advancing our projects, and we're doing that right now. We're drilling in Zacatecas. We've been drilling steadily for the last 18 months, almost 2 years in Zacatecas. We have a fully funded drill program. We will be continuing to put out what we think are some of the best results in Mexico this year. Pretty straightforward capital structure, trading at almost a 2-year low right now, but with $10.5 million in the bank, fully financed, about 220 million shares outstanding, no debt, 20 million warrants, and as I said, about 35 or 40% institutionally, 45% insider held, about 30 to 35% institution. So Zacatecas. If you follow the silver space at all, there's a few big names that you'll remember. Probably the most prominent one is Fresnillo Mining. It's the world's largest primary silver mine. It's located about 40 kilometers away from us. This is arguably the world's most important silver mining jurisdiction. This is the largest silver mining jurisdiction in Mexico. It's the largest silver producing state in Mexico, and Mexico is the largest silver producing country in the world by a long shot. Our closest neighbors are the Fresnillo mine, Mag Silver's Juanicipio joint venture project with Fresnillo, Pan American Silver's La Colorada project. Our next door neighbor is Capstone's Cozamin mine. We are in a part of the country that is so supportive of mining, we're seeing active mines being built. The current news of Mexico is that they can't have any open pit mines. Well, an hour and a half north of us, Camino Rojo, Mexico's newest open pit gold mine was just opened. So much like the previous presenter echoed, what you hear in the media is not what's happening in the ground right now. And this is a state that deeply understands the role of natural resources in the economy and culturally understands the role of natural resources and what they play in the economy of the state. Mining is the largest contributor to GDP in the state of Zacatecas. We're in a very pro-mining part of the state. We were able to receive drill permits in 10 days for our Lucita project. We see the opportunity to advance a 500-year-old mining district with modern mining theories, modern mining concepts, and Capstone Mining at their Cozamin mine is proving that for us. They just recently received a $214 million investment from Wheaton Precious Metals. So this is a 500-year-old mining jurisdiction. Our Veta Grande project has been in some way, shape, or form of production for almost 500 years. Stopped in the 1970s as a result of lack of understanding of the structural geology of the deposit, lack of mining capital to move forward the mining production or their mining advancement. When we acquired it, it had a small starter resource, 17 million ounces. Since then, we've done about 20,000 meters of drilling and expanded that known mineral resource envelope about 300% outside of that resource estimate. So we do see the opportunity to increase that mineral resource well beyond that 17 million ounces, and that's one of our catalysts for the next 12 months. Why we really like the opportunity of this project is we like to think of it as Fresnillo from the 1960s. So in the 1960s, Fresnillo, one of our closest neighbors, was out of ore. It's currently the world's largest primary silver mine. In 1975, after 10 years of surface exploration, they found the Santo Niño vein. That was 3 meters of 1,000 grams silver. As a company, we've hit those results a number of times throughout the system, throughout the depth of the system, throughout the strike length of the system. We're seeing those grades occur all over our property. Up until Fresnillo found the Santo Niño vein, this district, which is a billion-ounce district in itself, had produced more ore than the Fresnillo mine, more silver than the Fresnillo mine. When they found Santo Niño, all of the exploration went over into that area, the land position became fractured, and so what we did initially was begin to amalgamate a district. And that meant our opportunity to acquire the Lucita property from Pan American Silver. So the Lucita property, as I last presented here in May, was a recently acquired and recently drilled property. We're the first company to go and drill it. Our first drill holes into the property came back with up to 3 kilograms per ton silver. A number of intercepts were multi-meter, high grade, well above our cutoff grade, mineable widths up to 1,000 grams per ton silver in over 3 meters, another 3 meters of 700 grams per ton silver. And it's important to remember that next door to Fresnillo, Mag Silver, who is developing what will be the largest primary silver mine in the next 12 months, their first drill hole into that was 30 centimeters of 700 grams per ton silver. So we're well above that threshold in the same package of rocks, the same age systems, the same type of geology, and we're hitting that consistently across a multi-kilometer trend in our Lucita exploration project. So here's a map of just where we are and what we're doing and how everything kind of plays in together. So in the bottom half of the map, that's our Veta Grande resource area, which I'll talk about in a second. In the middle of the map, that's the Lucita Central property, which has a 4-kilometer strike length of variable types of vein systems, where in the eastern half, or in the western half, or in the eastern half, we hit up to 3 kilograms per ton silver. But in the western half, which we haven't really talked about, is what we're considering one of the emerging discoveries of this district. And we're hesitant to say discovery because we only have one hole into it. But that one hole into it, we hit a 50-meter wide zone up to multi-100 gram per ton silver. It was a blind discovery. It sits on a regional contact that can be mapped for kilometers. We have one hole into it, very, very, very strong mineralization. And we believe that this is an emerging discovery in a very, very historical camp. And it's going to lead the exploration, our exploration outside of the resource area for the coming future. In the northern half of our property, we have the Panuco property, where another company is drilling on our property boundary. They're drilling their highest grade results on our property boundary. So we're just kind of sitting on the shoulders and watching them do that. But that's just sort of our number 3 target in the area. But it's nice that we keep having these developing targets and keep having a camp that has this, potential to keep finding these vein systems. But for us, what's the most important thing that we have? This is the Veta Grande. The Veta Grande is one of Mexico's most well-known vein systems. It's produced over 200 million ounces of silver historically. It's been in some way, shape, or form of continuous production for almost 500 years. It has the benefit of infrastructure of being in a mining camp. You can drive to the property on a paved road in 6 minutes from the town of Zacatecas, 20-minute drive from an international airport. There's power on site, there's roads on site, there's permitted tailings facilities on site. Within 50 kilometers of the asset, there's 25,000 tons of milling capacity, and these mills are looking for mill feed right now. We have an option to acquire this property to 100%. We have one payment left on it. We've been drilling outside of an initial resource, about 16 million ounce resource, that we see the potential to build out quite significantly with the drill holes that we've demonstrated over the last 18 months and produced over the last 18 months. There's kind of a variety of ownership. We have both the San Nicasio and Lagartos property, Lagartos which we bought from Mag Silver. That's on strike with our next door neighbor, the Capstone's Cosamine mine. So Cosamine mine is Capstone's probably lowest cost, highest margin producer. They produce from an underground operation copper for 90 cents a pound. They'll be doubling their production in the next 12 months. Doubling their mill throughput in the next 12 months. We see the mill foundation in on our property, and when you stand on our resource, you can see that active mine. So we know that these systems, when they're targeted and when they're hit and you can develop them, they do go into production. Our 3 closest neighbors have all taken exploration discoveries and put them into production. What we've been doing is largely showing that this system is poorly tested. And up at the top, you can see there's in this purple line here, the purple vein system here, up in the top, that's where the resource is. So we're about 300 meters below that resource, and last week we put out results up to 2 kilograms per ton silver below that resource area. We're going to continue to step through the system, show that this thing is still open at depth, and it is still open at depth. We're about 10 times the cutoff grade of our current resource estimate, and when you look at it in a long section, you can see that we're well below that resource estimate, and we can see the potential to expand, and that's what our goal is in the next 12 months. The next catalyst for us is going after an updated resource estimate. We hope that we will be able to do that in the next 12 months. We will be expanding both in this area and along strike in this area, testing down dip, long strike, and we have a drill program underway on that right now. So what's our strategy in Zacatecas? Our strategy is not to reinvent the wheel. We know that discovery-focused geoscience works. Our 3 closest neighbors, Fresnillo, Mag Silver, Capstone, they've all taken what were shuttered projects without ore, drilled them out, and taken them, put them into production. 2 of those projects are the world's largest primary silver mines. They're in the same package of geology as us. They're in the same age systems as us. They have the same grade as us. They have the same discovery profile as us. We've been following the same timeline, knowing that discovery-focused geoscience works. And we've been doing a very good job of it, as you can follow, for the last 18 months, where we've drilled not only the highest grade results in the last 20 years in the Zacatecas district, but expanded on our known mineral envelope outside of our resource estimate by about 200%. We're fully financed to do that. We have about $10.5 million in the bank. That's 12 months of operating capital. So much like many of our peers, we're trading at a significant discount to where we did our previous financings, but we're not having to go to the market for additional dilution to complete these programs that we have in place, which include about 12,000 meters of drilling, at least in Zacatecas. At the end of the day, I think what we're doing is what every junior or what every advanced exploration company should be doing, and that's adding ounces to an advanced asset. And we can clearly demonstrate over the last 12 months where we've been able to do that and how they fit into our model, our global resource model in Zacatecas. So the catalyst coming forward, we did complete a phase 1 drilling program at Lucita, which included the highest grade drill results in the Zacatecas district in the last 20 years. It included emerging discovery. It also includes an updated sort of model for us to target additional systems in the Zacatecas district. And we think that that's going to lead to additional silver being discovered in the camp. The high-grade initial results at Palenque were demonstrating that we are still in a very active and very underdeveloped and underexplored district. Let's take, for example, that this is a billion-ounce silver camp. So if you put that into a gold equivalent, that's a 15 million-ounce historical producing gold camp. That puts it in the top tier of gold-producing jurisdictions in the world. We were able to acquire a 20 square kilometer land package in the heart of that camp, and our first holes into it drilled the highest grade drill holes in the last 20 years in that district. It's very rare that you can have that opportunity, and that's even more rare that we can be fully financed to continue to advance that. So we're going to continue to drill out that new emerging discovery, but then also continue to drill the Veta Grande because we do need to have that pillar of an updated resource estimate in that Veta Grande area. We're looking for 50 million ounces of silver in the Veta Grande, and in the Zacatecas district, we're looking for 100 million ounces of silver as a global resource in that district, and we believe that the land position, the results that we've had to date do support that. So without going over my time here, I think we leave a couple questions, and
maybe I can start. Thank you, Doug. Let's just speak quickly about Tepal.
Absolutely.
When will we see an outcome from the court? What do you think?
That, I think, is the biggest unknown with the court. So the Tepal property, that was subject to a fraudulent transfer. We have submitted all our documents. The property has been frozen, so nobody can transfer it, nobody can do work on it, you can't do anything with the asset. It's in the district court of Michoacan right now. It will be heard soon. We've been given the guidance anywhere from 6 to 24 months. Of course, we hope 6 months is going to be the case, but it's out of our control how long it's going to be until outcome is decided. We feel very confident of what we've been told and the guidance we've been given from our lawyer, our legal team here, and it's really up to the court at this point and our litigators at this point.
Maybe just what's the next press releases we will see? Results from Zacatecas?
Continued results from Zacatecas, continued high-grade results from Zacatecas. We're drilling into the heart of the system. Hopefully in the next 12 months we'll have an updated resource estimate and just continued to develop what is one of the most important silver mining camps in the world.